Hi, welcome to Thinking Tuesday. I'm Colin Seale, founder and CEO of thinkLaw, where we help educators teach critical thinking to all students. For today's Thinking Tuesday topic, we're going to give you a simple answer to a very complex question. What is critical thinking? Before we start, all my school and district leaders, do me a favor. Think back to that student who was a frequent flyer in your office for always getting into some sort of trouble. And not just any student. That student who was undeniably brilliant, but always seemed to make some sort of outrageous decisions. You're probably thinking about more than one student at this point, but if you're wondering how to figure out why people who seem to know better don't actually do better, you've actually highlighted one of the key goals of critical thinking instruction. So what is critical thinking? With so many states moving to more rigorous academic standards, critical thinking has been thrown around a lot this decade. We know it's huge for academic achievement, college success, and employers are begging for more critical thinkers in the workplace. So what is it? So I prefer to start this definition of critical thinking with what you already know. Because when I ask school and district leaders across the country what critical thinking is, they almost always hit all of these points. They say critical thinking is the ability to think outside the box and being able to learn facts and apply them, and the ability to question and to make claims and to support these claims with proper evidence. I've asked hundreds of you this question, and principal administrators consistently do an outstanding job of defining critical thinking skills. But critical thinking requires much more than skills. This is why your brilliant frequent flyer student makes dumb decisions. This is why we have kids sitting in juvenile detention who have all of the critical thinking skills in the world when they're standing in front of a judge explaining why they shouldn't get in trouble. But those skills are noticeably absent when they make those decisions to get them there in the first place. You can't just have critical thinking skills. You also need the critical thinking habits and the mindsets that ensure you actually apply these skills consistently. To make critical thinking even more complex, even when you have the skills, even when you have that disposition, critical thinking still tends to be very context dependent. Like, say you're a neurosurgeon, like a famous neurosurgeon. You have tons of critical thinking skills when it comes to all things neurosurgery, and you even have this incredible disposition where if you got a case with conjoined twins that are attached at the head, you'll do everything you can to figure that out. You're just so tapped into those habits and mindsets of critical thinking. But you take that same neurosurgeon, you put that person into politics, and you wonder what happened to his brain. I'm not talking about anybody in particular necessarily. I'm just saying that our task is complicated. So to all of my school leaders, remember, when we're talking about critical thinking, we are not just talking about the various critical thinking skills that immediately come to mind. We are talking about making sure our students have the critical thinking habits and mindsets to actually apply these skills, and making sure that these skills, habits, and mindsets actually become transferable across academic disciplines, careers, and life. So to learn more about how thinkLaw's critical thinking revolution is transforming education, visit us at www.thinklaw.us and follow us on Twitter at thinkLawUS. Thanks for helping us create a world where critical thinking is no longer a luxury good.